Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to True Common Ground, the podcast where each time we try to make sense of a world that's falling apart. Help me. Somebody help me. Or at least enable me to get to sleep. So, Donald.
Hey.
We heard from the vice president wannabe last night, a fellow by the name of JD Vance from Ohio. And this morning, all of the news services, the government-controlled news services in Russia, were cheering him on. They believe in JD Vance. They love JD Vance because JD Vance has made it very clear that
what a surprise.
He will and we will not support any further help for Ukraine, which of course then will mean that Vladimir Putin will take over not only the oil fields but the wheat belt and all the grain. And then of course next
Ukraine is the largest supplier, or was before there.
Yeah. So
had to dodge the bullets while harvesting.
Which is why Putin started there. Now, next will be Poland, Estonia, Latvia. You know, these guys, they're going to be easy. They're very excited in Russia this morning. They're thrilled at who Donald picked. One might think that maybe
it was engineered by some chance.
Maybe.
He came out of nowhere, and is a product of the new governing class, the tech empire, the Elon Musks and the Teal guys and all the rest. Really disappointing, very disappointing.
Oh, incredibly so. Like right now, Silicon Valley it seems like it's just folded for Trump.
It's a viper pit.
Yeah. Like all the big Silicon Valley money people are right now committing to Trump. Elon Musk is giving Trump $45 million a month, or $180 million between now and Election Day.
Hey, man, corporations are people too. Anybody remember that? Anybody remember that crapola and how, oh, gee, that doesn't sound right. Well, this is the product.
When Citizens United was decided and it became clear that unlimited money could find its way into the system, Chief Justice Roberts said, well, with social media and everything will be transparent. And then we found out, no, there's actually a loophole where it won't be transparent, which he probably knew about, by the way, because believe me, this has been a long orchestrated plan of the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society to take over America and democracy and make us the dictatorship that they've always hoped we would be, enabling tyranny of the minority, that a minority of citizens and a minority leadership would take over. So that's what we're up against right now. If we don't win this election on November 5th.
That's not quite as simple as having the votes.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get through the next January 6th.
Yes. You've got to be able to guarantee safety and security of all voting systems in all 50 states. There are clearly plans afoot right now by red state legislators where the Republicans, MAGA Republicans, control the state house and voting and all voting apparatus to restrict voting of college students, to restrict black votes, to restrict. So what you may see after this election day are some major conflicts where the president in charge is going to have to simply say, well, there has been screwing around with the vote in the following states, and so we're going to have to hold the vote all over again. We're going to have to hold the election all over again because we're not going to bring a man to power who has not been duly elected in a just and an appropriate way.
One man, one vote.
Yeah, well, wouldn't that be nice?
Amended to one person, one vote. All the things that have been taken for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And our election process has really not changed since the first vote was cast.
Yeah.
It's always been kind of a mom and pop shop in each district with votes passed along and good faith expected and for the longest time actually delivered. Mm-hmm. I mean, it might have been a little hinky here and there, we lost some votes, or, oh, that guy is dead, we shouldn't have counted his vote, that kind of thing. But it was always like sub 1% of the vote. And, that's okay. I mean, most people screw up their recipes that much, and everything tastes pretty good. So, it's been working. Now, this is not guaranteed at all.
No, because you have nefarious actors right now that are planning to subvert the election. They learned what they needed to learn in 2020. They learned what was missing and how to arrange the pieces on the board in order to do what they want to do. And by God, they're going to do it this time. If there's any way, they're going to figure out a way to do it. So,
fake electors is a great way to do it.
You look at that and you say to yourself, that's almost absurd. I mean, it's so easy to figure out.
Yeah.
So I think that the methods that they will use this time will be much more clandestine, much more clever. And let's remember that if I can't believe in this election and you can't believe in it, and the people who are following Trump refuse to believe in it, you really don't have a democracy anymore.
So as long as Trump can paint himself as the benevolent dictator to enough people, they'll be happy with it.
See, I don't think he can do that. And here's where it gets really interesting. What the Supreme Court, the most corrupt Supreme Court in American history, just did, there's no longer three co-equal branches of government. The president has enormous power now. He is free from any restrictions or shackles that are connected to laws. He is clearly above the law. He can do whatever he wants at this point. Some people said, well, yeah, but if he talks to his attorney general and he has the attorney general pick up and jail or kill, an opponent or whatever, we can come after the attorney general. No, we can't. He'll pardon the attorney general. So we can't do that. So, he is clearly above the law. The president right now, this moment, is a monarch and can do whatever he wants. He has complete freedom. Now, where he's lost power, is in the Chevron decision, where basically the Supreme Court, this Supreme Court has shown their hand. This is a dangerous group of anti-Americans and anti-Democrats, the six that are on the Supreme Court right now and basically controlling everything. They basically shut down all of the regulatory agencies. We have no regulatory agency power anymore, period. End of story. They may comment if they wish. They have no regulatory power. They can't stop any corporation or anybody else from doing anything. It really doesn't matter what they have to say at this point because of the Chevron decision. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people, with all the other madness going on right now, and my God, there's a shitload of madness going on, people don't know what's some of the more serious things that have just happened. So even the president doesn't have the power. The judiciary now does have the power over decisions, any decisions that used to be regulated by the EPA, the FDA, the Federal Trade Commission, the Commerce Department. It's
all up to the judges are now the experts that the regulatory agencies, which are experts, used to hold.
Right.
Now the judge just says, I don't think that's right. And can you imagine them all being Eileen Cannons, who are just, I don't even know what she does. I don't know where she went to school. I have no idea how her mind works.
If Donald Trump wins this election, she will be seated on the Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah.
For a lifetime.
Yeah. She'll get a new job. It'll be a new role. Supreme.
Now, if the Democratic candidate is elected, and I say that because I don't know that it will be Joe Biden, and I don't want to get tied up in that right now. We'll talk about that in a minute, okay? But if the Democratic candidate is elected, we have a real shot at some true Supreme Court reform. First of all, we will have to add 4 Supreme Court justices to neutralize the corrupt justices that are currently on the Supreme Court. Then what we have to do is move towards 18-year terms right away. Next thing we have to do is create an enforceable ethics program in the Supreme Court so that people like Alito and Thomas, who are corrupt, who have accepted millions of dollars from people like Harlan Crow, can be prosecuted. They cannot be prosecuted right now. Okay? They can't. Even if we were to say, okay, we're going to enforce an ethics program, the Supreme Court can just at this moment, with the 6 corrupt justices, they can just simply say, well, it's very nice, thanks for your note and everything, but no, you have no power to do this. But if we put 4 more justices on the Supreme Court, neutralize the corrupt justices, then we can make the Supreme Court what it should be right now. Right now, it's an activist
So
court.
why is it we can't do that right now?
The votes that you would need in the Senate, you don't have. And the time that you would need to confirm 4 justices, you don't have. We have 110 days as of right now before the election. Can't be done. Simply cannot be done in this amount of time left with the amount of votes we have and the Congress we have, which is a MAGA Congress right now. If you look at Project 2025, and I did I call it Trump's hateful manifesto, Project 2025.
It's actually Agenda 47 now. They changed the name because it was getting too much traction.
Well, they're really good with words. These guys are slick. You got to really follow them day by day. I'm glad you mentioned that because anybody who hears Agenda 47, just know that's Project 2025. It's Trump's manifesto to end democracy. And wrapped in the enormous power.
It's not as if, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
But I'm not that sorry. It's not as if Trump sat down and wrote this. His minions have done. I need something where I can do everything I want when I want to do it. You have to write it up now and bring it to me tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
that's what he did, and they did it because they're all Stephen Millers. They're all Bannons. They've been ready for this moment all their lives.
Yep.
Rust never sleeps.
That's right.
And these shitballs. Oh, did I say a bad word on TV? Oh no. These guys this is who they are. The Hitler ass kissers of the 30s and 40s.
Hey, speaking of ass kissers, I don't think I've ever felt as repulsed or as sick as when I saw Nikki Haley go up there. God,
she's never been any different. When has she been different?
Man. But I just thought, well, she was really taking it to him there during the campaign, and I thought, well, this could be the future of a more legitimate party here, and in 2028 or whatever. Because I knew that nobody was going to win but Trump in this one. But it shows you that the whole MO, the whole modus operandi right now for Trump is submission. Submission. You will submit. You will bow down. That's
he's going to go to
the
maximum position, the maximum narcissist position.
I think that's why he picked JD Vance. Because
he did. Absolutely. Yes. Excellent point. Because everybody says, oh, this guy is such a, he said all these things about Trump and now Trump's picking him for a VP because he doesn't care. Vance, he recognizes Vance is the same as him. He will say whatever he needs to say to get where he wants to be. And that's who he is.
And just so that we have a little review here, a little proof of that, let's take a look at some of the things that JD Vance has said about Donald Trump.
For President Donald J. Trump
and JD Vance.
Terrible candidate. Idiot if you voted for him. Might be America's Hitler. Might be a cynical a-hole. Cultural heroine. Noxious and reprehensible.
But I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place. He's leading our political discourse to a very negative place. If Trump is elected president, he has to be a much different president than he was a candidate. As a candidate, he was fundamentally divisive, arrogant. I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
So there you have it. A strong endorsement of his new boss. Now, how could somebody who said those things, how could they possibly do what JD Vance has just done and still be looked upon as an ethical, moral, decent person? Nobody cares about truth here at all, or ethics or anything. It's just winner take all politics. That's it.
It really is a challenge for a rational mind to look at events, even as they happen, and square them with reality and with what went before.
Yeah.
Because every day is a new adventure. You watch the people political conventions have never been the home of, rational thinking. It's always been waving cards and flags and
banners and
states
nonsense.
Things. And,
it's a circus. It's a circus. Let's just take a look at JD Vance for a second. Now, we can see his duplicity. We can see how he has no conscience whatsoever to be able to say that he's a never Trumper and all of the things that he just said, and then literally come and bow down. And I think that's why, as I was saying before, that Trump loves this guy, because it shows how he can crush people. It shows how people are submissive to him, how they will bow down. No matter who they are, they will bow down. But here's a couple of facts about JD Vance that we should all keep in mind. First of all, he insists still that the 2020 election was stolen. He said that he would have done what Mike Pence refused to do. He also supports abortion completely, including in cases of rape and incest. And he's come out with that from the start. So here's a guy who is telling every woman in this country, you will procreate. You will do as I tell you to do. You will follow my rules. Well, if JD Vance is the vice president, he will support a nationwide abortion ban, once and for all, period, full stop. And he'll be the man who oversees, the Congress and the decider if we have a very close, 50-50 Senate. He will be the guy who gets things done, okay? And that will become law in every state in the United States. So
they're ready to go. They kind of already have it in their state, constitutions. They've already.
Yep.
They've gone as far as they dare go under the gaze of the current voting population, because they still have to be elected. Once they really don't need to be elected anymore, that will be a circus.
Yeah. So he's argued that women should stay in violent marriages, mocking domestic violence survivors as people who like to shift spouses like they change their underwear. That's just flat out disgusting. Okay, this is the kind of human being this man is. Okay, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Vance's radical opinions. And people need to get to know this guy. They need to understand who he is. He's 39 years old. And if Trump were to drop dead in the next 4 years, which is entirely possible, this is the kind of dictator that would take over. It's impossible to overstate the cataclysmic and existential danger of this moment. You can't. It sounds like I'm being hyperbolic. It sounds like I'm overstating the case. I am not. It is this dangerous. The world will change in ways we cannot begin to imagine if this man becomes president.
And don't succumb to the inevitable philosophy. Oh, there's nothing we can do. This is just inevitable. This is the way it's going to be. And start thinking about, well, it won't be that bad. We'll still be able to get Big Macs and stuff.
Right.
That's true. And you know what? Just to be a little really gloomy and gloom and doomy, as following up on what you said, what will Russia do? Putin, not Russia. He will eventually, when things get bad enough, he will go to the nuclear option. Personally, I think, in my belief, since all oligarchs and the people of that type just suck all the wealth out of a government and directed to themselves and their cronies, I don't think they've been keeping that shit up. And they're going to push the button and it's going to go, something untoward will happen but it will still trigger a response.
Yeah.
Revelations, it is hard to read and it tends to put me to sleep. But the earth biblically ended with a flood, and God promised not to end it but to end it with fire. And a nuclear war is pretty much the definition of how that works. So I know there are a lot of people who absolutely believe the Bible word for word. I think it's more written as an interpretation. But, I have an argument, and I argue with the Jesus people that show up at the door. I talk to them for so long that they start looking at their watch and they want to leave. And I'm keeping them, no, wait a minute.
Well, really, I don't particularly subscribe, to especially Old Testament Bible as being written in reality. I think it's more allegorical.
That's really ancient. But the New Testament is ancient, but that is ancient.
Right. But I know that the evangelicals do. I know that the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, thinks that human beings and dinosaurs walked the earth 5,000 years ago. I don't subscribe to that, but many people do. Yes. And most of those people are voting for Donald Trump. And I would say to those people right now, if you want a quick ticket to the end of the world, he's your guy. The danger that will arise from a Trump monarchy, and that's what it will be, just cannot be overstated. It can't be overstated. And Donald Trump, he doesn't give a damn about Project 2025 or anything like that. Sure, go ahead, enact anything you want. He's in it for the money. He's in it for himself. He's in it to stay out of jail. He's in it not to be prosecuted. That's why
he's pretty dim-witted and short-sighted.
Right.
He really is.
Now you're going to hear him speak tonight. He's going to tell you that God, saved him from the bullet and preserved him and has sent him here to save the world. You're going to hear all kinds of nonsense. He's going to try to wrap all of his violent hatred in a lot of bullshit unity speak tonight, okay? And that's why I really haven't watched the Republican convention, because it's just performative. It's just a circus. It's just a show.
Yeah. I agree with you. And I could only take it for so long, and I had to go somewhere else because it just gets to be too much. But it is useful to watch how the orchestration has been done. It's not particularly slick. It's meant to be consumed. It's meant to be consumed by the average MAGA type, because those are his people. There's not a it's my turn to have the brain this week.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of thinking going on there.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, I thank you for watching, Don, so I don't have to. Because I'm telling you, man, I just can't. I know who the players are. I know what they're going to say. I know they're going to lie constantly. Every time they speak, they will be lying. I know it's an absurdity. This man is a convicted felon. He is an adjudicated rapist, and they made him the candidate of their party.
Fake news, man. That's the Dems. That's Biden. He did it.
Yeah, right. Well, he was adjudicated by juries of his peers.
You know what? You can see? It devolves. It continually devolves. And they're just bigger and bigger lies. Yeah. And everyone knows the lies. And now they start applauding when they hear the lie again. It's this remarkable sociological thing that is taking place. It's disgusting and makes you want to just push the button. But it's important, because these are the people. They're your fellow citizens of the United States of America.
I know,
and there's
scary.
And there's like 100 million of them. There's 330 million people in the United States, and,
right.
and 100 million of them, or around that number, are these people. Interestingly, I did not hear one rousing moment as they gave the speeches, and different people went up there and spoke, and they really did some skeevy, really low things where they brought up people who were obviously deeply damaged by the death of their children in the military in Afghanistan, blaming it on Joe Biden, even though Trump was there when the withdrawal was put together. He didn't oversee it because he was out of office, but it was his work to have that arranged for. I mean, how do you blame a withdrawal on, or the effects of a withdrawal on anyone? What army has ever withdrawn successfully?
Yeah.
With taking no damage.
There is no doubt that they won't go in service to this degenerate.
Bone Spurs, the commander in chief.
Yeah.
But there was never a moment. No one said anything. Not JD Vance, not whoever that fat guy was with the bulldog. There was no wild cheering. There was like very tepid. The whole thing was very tepid. They only want Trump. Yeah. I guarantee when he's up there, they go crazy because I don't know why exactly. He's a shit speaker. He is a moron. He says nothing new ever. You know what he's going to say, but it's like being in a club. And now it's time for us to cheer. It's like the Mickey Mouse Club. Now it's time for us to cheer. Yeah.
Right. Why? Because we like you.
So to those who are, we hope there are people that are watching this to tell the truth and have the facts. Some of what I say is correct and valid, but I would appreciate if everyone fact checked everything that I say. Well, please do.
Sure. You know, I said in yesterday's podcast, I said, look, question authority, question this. Don't believe anything you see or hear, especially if it's from authority or from a podcast, without doing some homework. You got to do the homework. I know everybody's busy. I know everybody's burdened, but you got to do the homework because
there is no fountain of truth. There isn't one.
It's just it's
unfortunate, but
there's a ton of misinformation out there right now. Let's talk for a minute about Joe Biden. Now, Let me just preface it with, I will vote if Joe Biden went to sleep in the middle of Fifth Avenue. I'd vote for him on November 5th. I'll vote for whoever is the candidate of the Democratic Party, because a vote for anybody else is a vote for Donald Trump. No vote at all is a vote for Donald Trump and, Manifesto Project 2025. So I'll vote blue no matter what, straight down the ballot. No questions this time. We cannot afford to dick around about policy or anything else. This is an existential danger. That having been said, I do believe that Joe Biden will step aside this week. I'm pretty sure that it will happen. Between the money drying up, between the fact that he has COVID right now, he said things like, only the Lord Almighty. Well, you got COVID.
And that might sound trite and stupid to people. And if they can't really vote for somebody they really believe in, they're not going to vote. That is a dangerous thing to do in this particular election. I have voted for people who couldn't win in past elections, but you can't do that this time. This requires unity from people who see the truth, and irrespective of who's telling who what, the people, you can see it. You don't need anyone to tell you. You can see it. You may look for people to reinforce what you believe, but you see it. Yeah. This guy is poison. The people that work for him are rats. Yeah. And here's the thing. If Trump loses, and this is probably their biggest worry, the people who are really behind all this, the actual conspiracy, the money. If Trump loses, MAGA loses.
Yeah.
And every one of his seats in Congress, in the House, in the Senate, they will lose. They will be gone. There won't be any MAGA people left once he goes. But he actually has to go.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be simple.
No.
It's not as simple as I had happy thoughts about democracy. It has to be done. You have to go. And it may not be that simple for you to go and vote. There may be roadblocks put in your way.
There will be.
And you may actually have to fight. You actually do have to do the work. You have to fight.
Yeah.
You have to go and vote. Show up. Vote blue. All the way down. Even if you I don't know who that guy is. You can count on he's better than the other guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Count on that.
This election, I mean, you can honestly say this is not an election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
It isn't.
This is an election between democracy and freedom and, dictatorship, a monarchy. I mean, honest to God, folks, that's really what's going to happen. He has the power now. The corrupt Supreme Court has bestowed this power on him. And if you give
they have bestowed it on the office of the presidency.
Yeah, but they know what's going to happen when he takes power.
They think they know.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen.
You give Donald Trump a loaded gun, tell him he can use it anytime he wants, and with no consequences, no repercussions. Believe me, he's going to use that gun. He's going to use
absolutely. That's his dream date.
I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, this will be the last election in our lifetime. Honest to God. And in our children's lifetime, maybe our grandchildren might see something else. I don't know. I doubt it, because these kinds of things, when the world changes this much, it takes, millennia sometimes for things to come back around. He will, if he is elected, he will not leave office in 4 years. That will not happen. And, the world will change in ways that are hard to comprehend right now. Even though we have the plan, you can go to the Heritage Society's website and, download 922 pages of Project 2025 and see exactly what they intend to do. And I'm going to talk about that in much more detail tomorrow. But this is what we're up against right now, folks. So you're going to hear a lot about Joe Biden over the next week. That doesn't really matter. Focus on the core thing here. It's democracy or dictatorship. Democracy or dictatorship. And if you don't know what a dictatorship is like, speak to people from Russia. Go there. See what it feels like. Go to China. Go to Iran. Go to North Korea. That's what it feels like. That's what it is.
Just like you think.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just what you think.
Yeah.
You can't do anything.
No, and you can't progress. And you can't be more than you are. You are kept at a level. You are indentured into a life of servitude for the rest of your days. That's basically it. You serve the state.
And your children. And your children's children.
This is serious shit, folks. This is for real.
Existential, man.
It really is.
We really have to give some credit to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell has been the worst thing to happen to the former reasonable government. It was his work that poisoned the Supreme Court. It was his work that has softened the ground so that Trump could walk.
It sounds crazy, but if you just look at the facts, I mean, we have remarkable unemployment, lower than it's ever been for longer than it's ever been. Wages are higher than they have been and have grown more in the last 3.5 years than they had in the previous 25 years at a better rate than they have in the last 25 years. the guy, resolved COVID to an extent where it's not really an issue or a problem anymore. The stock market is over 40,000 for those of you out there who own stock.
Remember when it couldn't go over 20?
Yeah, what are we talking about? What are we talking about here? Why is this a problem?
Well, hey, you know what the problem is, really? And it's a reasonable, it is an actual problem. It's a real thing, and people have a right to be pissed about it. It's prices. Prices are out of control. I remember when it happened, I buy the same things all the time. Yep. I have a remarkable diet of somehow I can eat the same crap week after week, and I love it. Day. Anyway, but I go and I buy the same things, and so 1 week it went from somewhere around $50, what I buy every week, to $70.
Yeah,
and it's gone higher now.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Greed.
And really, what the regulation of monopolies has slowly eroded.
There's no regulation anymore. The Federal Trade Commission is just neutralized.
Now it's just perfect. But the number of corporations that made most of the consumer products, between somewhere in the 50s and somewhere in the 70s, the early 70s, had basically almost been cut in half. Now I'm sure it's even less because of money in politics.
Oh, sure.
Money in politics is the single poison which has really done us in today, the fountain of rot. Because when a person is elected into office, I'm sure everybody knows this already, but when a person gets into office, the first thing they're told, you've got to raise $40,000 a day. Now, you can take a meeting with Joey from the bullshit Corporation of America, and he'll give you that money in one shot. Or you can make 40,000 phone calls asking people for $1.
Yeah. Right.
What do you think?
And that's
which way are you going?
That's 40,000 a day, 365 days a year.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every single day.
Yeah. And how much are you going to get done? And even like people say, well, Bernie Sanders, he's got millions, and so naturally people are not stupid. So people get in office, they put together a team, and they play the stock market.
Yeah. Right.
And they know things.
Sure, they can actually move the market. They know
stuff.
They can move the market.
They're only doing it for the good of the people.
Right.
So,
they can make an announcement and move the market. Oh, shit, Don, there's so much wrong with this country right now that it's not at all a shock to be where we are right now. The thing is that if we vote for Donald Trump, we're going to continue to go in the wrong direction, and things are going to get far worse than they are right now.
He is a culmination of the wrong direction.
But if we do win this election somehow, we've got to win this election, then we have tremendous work to do to undo all of the damage that has been done, to get rid of the Electoral College, to stop gerrymandering once and for all, to get money out of politics. I mean, any given day, you look at your email, it's just sickening. They're asking for money, just around the clock all the time. It's just disgusting, what's become of this government. So, I mean, make no mistake about it. We have very serious problems. They'll become a great deal more serious if Donald Trump wins. You've got to vote blue, folks. This time it's democracy or it's forever.
And then get ready, because let's hope and pray that as a people, we the people are able to turn this around and get rid of the existential threat, which is Trump. Say we're able to do that. That is just the very beginning of the battle to put that in place. Because January 6th is coming, and it's going to be the same crap, only worse.
Yes, it is. You're absolutely right. And there's a lot more sympathetic Trump judges out there, like Alien Cannon, who are perfectly willing to break the law, to go corrupt, to go rogue. So this is going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough. And we're going to need everybody, all hands on deck. Everyone's going to have to get involved. Nobody can stay home. And we're going to have to put our policy aside. Just forget about that right now. We have to save democracy. Because if we don't save democracy, it doesn't matter what you want anymore. It doesn't matter what you're looking for. It doesn't matter what policies you think are important or whether you think the Supreme Court is corrupt. Alito and Thomas will step down as soon as Donald Trump is elected president, and he will appoint Aileen Cannon and people like that. Yeah.
Perfect. So we need heads.
Anyway, listen, vote blue, folks. Hey. It's democracy or dictatorship.
Absolutely. And there's so much to talk about. I would love to keep going. I don't know if you watch Midas
Network,
Touch,
sure.
Midas Network. They'll give you an education.
Oh yeah.
They will give you an education. And it's a no BS. And these MAGA people don't do anything. They don't do a single thing. None of the actual work that's been done has been done by anyone.
Oh, you don't think
from the MAGA.
You don't think that Aileen Cannon wrote that ruling? She didn't write it. That was written by the Federalist Society. She hasn't had the experience to write that.
Cut and paste.
Yeah, no, she signed it. That's all. Yeah.
But the reason that they don't do anything is because they don't need to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump will tell them what they are going to do.
Right.
There won't be any representation of the people in Congress. If this guy is elected, you got to understand how deep it goes. Yeah. They will be told what the new policies are.
Absolutely. I mean, they've already been told. He's not even the president. We had a solution to the border, at least an interim solution that would have really worked. And he just said, no, don't allow it. Don't bring it up for a vote or anything else. I want to use it to run on. Okay, so the people that are in misery on our side of the border, in Texas and down south, to hell with them. I don't care what happens to them. Okay, the godforsaken people on the other side of the border, with children that are struggling to survive in this very difficult moment in history, to hell with them. Let's just keep it burning right now. Let's just let the people burn for a while because it'll help me get into president. If he is able to exert that kind of force and that kind of control over a Congress when he is not the president, come on, folks.
Yeah. Well, he does. He controls the people who vote for these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not Democrats, but he controls the MAGA Congress because the only way they stay in office is if the MAGA minions vote, and he controls the MAGA minions.
He sure does.
It is really a slimy bucket of slime.
Yeah.
And there's only one solution.
There's only one scenario left to us. We have to be the jury. We have to vote on November 5th. We have to send this man where he belongs. And that's the end of it. We do that. We've saved America. We've saved the world order. We've saved democracy. We've saved the world, just the way our parents did in World War II. We don't do that, well, then autocracy wins. Well, folks, I think you can tell we're pretty nervous. I hope you are too. I hope it's as hard for you to go to sleep as it is for me to go to sleep right now, because I want to tell you, I don't think I'm going to sleep again until November 6th. I mean, who knows what the hell is going to happen.
Me and Joey we're texting at 1 a.m.
Yeah. It's pretty alarming.
What the hell?
And we like to sleep, damn it. We like to. All right.
I love it.
Hey, thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you again soon. Please vote blue like your life depends on it, because it does. Thanks.
As many times as you can. Vote.